counselors here. I'm very excited to have you for a full hour. In this hour, we'll be able to talk about our academic opportunities here, the flexibilities in our programs, our professors, what our classroom experience is like, and then we'll end with the admissions process, talking about how you go about applying here. So how many juniors do we have in the room today? Okay, a fair amount. What about seniors? Okay, one. Congratulations for being a senior, yay. What about sophomores? Any sophomores? Okay, and the other people, you just didn't raise your hand to any of them. That's fine. So, before we do begin, let's hear about where everybody's coming from. I'm originally from New Hampshire. Anyone from New Hampshire? Okay, yay! You're originally from New Hampshire?
Hanover.
Hanover, Manchester. Where the airport is. What about Maine? Anyone from Maine today? New Jersey? New Jersey, yay. What about Pennsylvania? Any Pennsylvania? Welcome. Let's see. Connecticut. No Connecticut. New York? New York Yankees? Yes. The right answer is no. California. Okay, wow, a lot of California. What about Chicago? Okay, no Chicago this morning. Let's see. Massachusetts, right here in the state? No, nobody? Where else am I missing? Did I miss anybody in the room? Virginia. Okay. DC. My goodness. And then you guys? Same. Great. Well, welcome. So this part I actually need the students' participation in this one. So students, raise your hand. Okay, don't be shy on this, right? Turn to your right or to the left to face one of your parents. And you have to repeat after me. And I have to hear it pretty clearly. Poor hearing, so speak up. I give you permission. That was a lot of mumbling. To ask questions. I never hear the second part, ever. But I will trust that we've taken this oath and that we're all on the same page, right? Okay. Before we do begin, my goal for this session is actually to be able to highlight areas of our university that makes us unique. Because I know you will begin to or have already looked at a lot of colleges. And by looking at a lot of colleges, they might seem a little crazy and muffled at first, but my goal is to highlight some of these areas to make it a little bit easier for you to decipher which is which. So firstly, we are unique as a university because we're located in the heart of Boston. That's not that unique because there are a lot of schools in the Boston area. But what makes us unique is that we have a small campus feel. A long time ago, we started off as a commuter school, so we get a lot of parking spaces to work with. So from those parking spaces, we build up upon more buildings, more research labs, residential halls. We plant some grass and some trees that you see around us. So now we have a 73-acre of a small campus feel. So you essentially get the best of both worlds here. The access to a city, to be able to live in the city in your early 20s and you're 18, 19. At the same time, you have that small community feel. To be able to have both, I think, is pretty awesome. Second thing that makes us unique is that we are the leader in experiential learning. So what does this fancy term mean? It means that we integrate the classroom experience with hands-on experience in real-world settings. So we don't just isolate our students in just the academics in the classroom alone. Because we feel that having something tangible, something that they are actually going to be physically involved with, and integrating that with their academics is how they can maximize their experience. So let me ask you this, how many of you own cell phones? Hands, okay. The majority of us. So that's a lead-up questions into. How many of you, the first time you ever got a cell phone, took out the manual and started to read up on how to use it? Okay, no, nobody today? Okay, there's always one, little shy, little wave up there. It's always a couple, but the majority of us, what do? We take out that cell phone, we start to play around with it, and we check out the apps and how to use it. We're learning by doing. That is essentially what experiential learning is all about. So we achieve this experiential learning in 4 different ways. Undergraduate research, service engagement, global experience, and fourth is our co-op program. Have you heard of co-op before? A lot of nods, great. Co-op in a nutshell, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a 6-month period of time where our students are in a full work position in the field or area of their interest. But I'm going to leave it at that and tell you more about it a little bit later on, but that's just a little teaser for you right now. But let's switch to talking about our academics here. We are an academics institution, so I do want to provide you with an opportunity to listen to what academics we have to offer. So we have everything ranging from a bachelor's degree all the way to a doctorate degree. And 2 doctorate degrees here are physical therapy and pharmacy programs. But we have 8 colleges for you to pick from, as well as a program for undeclared students. So who here has a good idea of what you want to study when you go into college? Yes. Okay, great. I saw yours first. Do you want to share yours?
Business.
Business, great. So we have a business school at Northeastern. Any other business students, potential ones? No more. 0. So they're just being shy. I'm sure there's an inkling back there. So for our business students, you will go in and you will choose from 2 degrees. One is the international business side, and the other is the domestic side. So after you choose a degree, you have 7 concentrations to pick from finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, supply chain management. And then what happens is our international business students will actually be required to spend a whole year abroad. In this year abroad, you're going to do 6 months of co-op where you're working full-time. The other 6 months you're doing academic studies. So you can imagine if you're going to go abroad for a whole year. There's a strong language requirement attached to it. So our students here are taking a lot of language courses. But the neat thing is when they come back from that year abroad, they become virtually fluent in that language. Not a bad thing to have another language in your resume. So it's very exciting for our students. Anyone else want to share with their potential interest? Nobody else wants to share. Uh-oh. You're getting into the trap of the 2:30 info, so watch out.
Yes, one.
How about, oh yes.
Physical therapy.
Physical therapy, great. So our physical therapy program is the 6-year doctorate degree program. So our students are studying for 6 years. They will get that doctorate degree when they graduate. It is located in the Bouvet College of Health Sciences. That is also the home to 4 other majors: nursing, pharmacy, speech pathology and audiology, and health sciences. Located in the Baraka Center, where we originally were, in the Visitor Center. We have state-of-the-art equipment. It's equipment you would find in a fully functioning hospital. We're also part of the healthcare delivery system in the Boston area. So what happens is we go out into the communities and deliver healthcare services. For example, December 1st was World AIDS Day. So we went out into the at-risk communities in Boston and delivered free HIV testing. So there's a service component very integrated to their experience in classroom as well. How about we go through and I can tell you a little bit about each of the colleges and tell you what majors will fall underneath them as well, so you're more aware of what opportunities in terms of academics we have here. Sound good? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So College of Arts, Media, and Design. So you will have theater and arts and design, of course, but this is where we'll also have architecture, as well as communications, journalism, and creative studies. So our students in architecture are actually required to go abroad and study in Berlin for 6 months. So required I use loosely, because how hard can it really be? You have to go to Berlin to study over there, right? So we are also partners and affiliated with the New England Conservatory and the Museum of Fine Arts right here in the neighborhood. Museum of Fine Arts here happens to be one of the best museums in the country. Our students have the luxury of going to that museum for free, and we also use that museum as a resource because our students will take classes there as well. So it's very lucky to have that partnership. We already spoke about the College of Business Administration, but the College of Computer Information Sciences. These students will be studying algorithms, databases, systems, and the security behind a lot of this technology. As you can imagine, technology is very prevalent in other areas as well. So this is where a lot of our dual programs will take place. For example, who here likes to play video games? Hands. Video games. Okay, a couple. So we have video game design as a major at Northeastern. So these students, when they are video game designers, they will have a dual degree between the College of Computer Information Science with the College of Arts, Media, and Design. So that's an example of one dual degree. But you can double major across different colleges, minor across different colleges. So there's a lot of flexibility, so you're not constrained to just one college in and of itself. Keeping that in mind. College of Engineering happens to be our oldest college at Northeastern. We started off as an all-male engineering school. Of course, a lot has changed since then. Are any potential engineers? Okay, great, wow. So our students in engineering actually make upwards of $30 an hour in their co-ops. Now who wants to be a potential engineer? So first year, you will get a very common curriculum, like the rest of your freshman classmates. You'll be exposed to different areas of engineering, such as civil, mechanical, industrial, and then by the end of your freshman year, you'll get to choose from a particular concentration. We're a part of Engineering Without Borders. So this is a service engagement program where our students will start initiatives here on campus and then implement them abroad. For example, we've been to Honduras over the last couple of years, trying to find clean water resources with the technology our engineering students have started. So this is another way to integrate their studies into a service program. Bouvet College of Health Sciences, we already spoke about. College of Professional Studies, you won't find a lot of our students here because this is where a lot of part-time students will be if they want to take evening courses or online courses. But in the future, you want to have a minor in education, this is where the minor will take place. Something to keep in the back of your mind. It's very popular at Northeastern to have this minor, so just want to mention that to you. College of Science, Biology, Chemistry, Physics, Mathematics, Marine Biology, Environmental Science, Neuroscience. Any pre-med, potential pre-med students here? Well, we do have a pre-med program. So in the future, if you're interested, our pre-med students will get an advisor. They'll make sure the students are taking the right courses to graduate and go on to medical school. We are a part and partners with Tufts Medical School as well. It's an early assurance program where our students, in their freshman year, if they know they definitely 100% want to go to medical school, can apply to Tufts their first year here at Northeastern. Sophomore year, they will know if they have gotten in. So this way, they know a little bit earlier on. The other thing, I know it's crazy, the other perk about this early assurance program through Tufts is that they don't have to take the MCATs. Something to consider. That's right. College of Social Sciences and Humanities. This is where you'll have international affairs, political science, English, economics, philosophy, history. We have pre-law as well here. We have law school right here on campus. So you can be here for pre-law. If you love Northeastern, stay here for law school as well. That's an opportunity. Any students here who don't really know exactly what they might want to major in? I have no hands today for anything. This can't be right. For students who are undeclared, this is a lucky program because you have the opportunity to go in and take courses across multiple disciplines. So you have an opportunity to do something in the sciences, and then the history, and then the arts. Then you get a lot of support from our staff and faculty member, and you have up until the end of your sophomore year to declare a particular major. After that, you can transfer into any of these colleges. At Northeastern, we do have a mandatory supplement. This supplement simply asks what major and what college you want to apply into. So, if you want to be an engineering student, where will you apply? Of course, to the College of Engineering. If you want to be a business student, there we go, in the business administration. If you don't know or have a lot of ideas on what you could potentially major in, the program with undeclared students could be a place for you. After that, you can transfer to any of the ones. However, I have a question of, Gwen, if I go into engineering and first semester I know right away engineering is not for me, what can I do from there? You can most certainly transfer out of this College of Engineering into anything else virtually, except for there's one college that's very hard to transfer into. Any guesses into what that college might be?
College of Health Sciences.
That's exactly right on your first try. Wow. College of Health Sciences is exactly right. The retention rate in this particular college is so high, it's about a 98, 99% retention rate. It doesn't leave a lot of room for other people to transfer into. So, if you are interested in any of the five majors within that college, we recommend that you apply directly into it. because it's very easy. Once you get into Northeastern, into that college, you transfer out of and change your mind to virtually any of the other colleges. It's very difficult to transfer into. Does that make sense? Something just to keep in mind. So what is our classroom experience like? Tends to be the case that there's a lot of participation that goes on. So something to think about in the future as well for the students. No, but at Northeastern, we have about 16,000 undergrads. So as you can see, with that number alone, it seems a little daunting. However, we strive to have a very intimate classroom setting at Northeastern. With over 2,200 faculty members, we're able to keep our class sizes small. Our average class size here is actually 24 students. And our student-to-faculty ratio is 13:1. So you are not going to get lost in the classroom. You're not going to be able to just hide in the background of over hundreds and hundreds of students. You will be able to meet your classmates, develop that meaningful relationship with the professor. We're very proud of the caliber of the professors we have here. They are experts in their research field. They've been published in the press. They've written their own textbooks, some of them being Jack Levin, who's been featured on CNN multiple times as a criminal consult. Michael Dukakis, the former presidential candidate. But above all, they are all dedicated to teaching our undergraduate students. All of our classes will only be taught by professors, so not TAs or teaching assistants or graduate level students. They will all be approachable and hold office hours so students can come in for extra help and be very, very accessible to our students. And so in college, unlike high school, the best students, this is a little tip for you, best students will be those who actually go see their professors the most. And so keeping that in mind. In addition, there's a lot of flexibility at Northeastern. And I think this is the key part that also separates us apart. But within our flexibility, we have what's called the NEU core. So similar to other institutions, we do have a core requirement. So if you are, let's say, an arts, media, and design student, we want you to graduate with a well-rounded education. So we want you to be proficient in writing. Know a little bit about the history and the arts. You already know about the arts. Know a little bit about the history and the sciences. In that way, we do it for two reasons. One, of course, is to graduate our students with a well-rounded education. Because we strongly believe that when you graduate with a well-rounded education, you'll be the most competitive candidate for any graduate level school or any job position. Second reason we do this is that we want to give you that little nudge for you to explore different things, to go beyond your comfort zone, try something that you've never tried before. You'll find a lot of our students, let's say they're an engineering student, and they go into, let's say, psychology and say, I really like psychology. Let me do this as a major. Let me do this as a minor. So this is how our students begin to develop majors and minors, because they try out different things. And so I want to encourage our students to think of it as an opportunity, just to try new things and see what you can make of it, as opposed to looking at it as a requirement per se, at this college or anywhere that you might apply to as a core curriculum. We talked a little bit before about combined majors, but we have here at Northeastern what's called the +1 degree program. So in this program, if you want even more of a degree than bachelor's, you can stay here for one more academic year and get your master's degree. Master's degree typically are 2-year programs. So what happens is our students during their undergraduate degree, senior year typically, will take graduate level courses. And then they stay here for another academic year, then they graduate with a master's degree. So it's a great opportunity for you to do that. But we'll think about the bachelor's degree for just now, but that's something a little bit later down the road for you to think about. You can also stay here for 4 years or for 5 years. Traditionally, other places are doing the 4-year, but at Northeastern, in both cases, the 4-year and 5-year, you're doing 8 academic semesters, just like you would anywhere else. And you're paying tuition for only 8 academic semesters, just like you would anywhere else. The only difference is in the number of co-ops that you do. So with 4 years, you could do up to 2 co-ops. In the 5-year, you could do up to 3 co-ops. Majority of our students at Northeastern will do the 5-year program, because who wants to leave college, right? Stay here for as long as you can. Majority of them choose the 5-year because they want to have more of that work experience. 3 co-ops of 6 months period. So they're leaving here with over a year and a half of work experience. So they are actually even way more competitive than a lot of students who do graduate from their year. Other schools are doing the 4-year with no co-ops, but we can fit in 2 co-ops during that time. How do you think that we can do that? Any guesses? Summers is exactly right. So during the summers, our students will stay here on campus and they will be taking classes. So of course, with the accelerated version, there comes some sacrifices, and that sacrifice happens to be your summers, but you find a lot of these students who choose the 4-year will come in with a lot of APs. So how APs works is that you get a 4 or 5 on the AP exam. That will be transferred over to college credit. So you have a lot of APs, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of your summers here making up the academic courses. Does that make sense? But let's talk a little bit more about co-op. Now that I've thrown that word out for you a couple times, I do want to spend a good amount of time talking about co-op. Just because it is such a signature part of our program, it's something that does truly set us apart. So are you still awake with me? Are you still with me here? Okay. Just a checkpoint. So co-op, in a nutshell, is a 6-month period of time where you are fully employed in the position or field of your interest, when you are not taking classes and you're not paying tuition. So waking up in the morning, instead of putting on your sweatpants and sweatshirt and going to classes, you will go to work, put on professional clothes and go to work from 9 to 5. So a couple of things to take away from co-op. 1, not mandatory. You could do 0, 1, 2, up to 3. Secondly, co-op, you're not paying tuition. And most of our students will be paid as well in their positions. Upwards of $30 an hour for those engineering students and computer information sciences students. But typically our students, I would say, are making around $10 to $12 an hour. So where can you live when you're in co-op? If it's around the Boston area, of course you can stay on campus for housing. If it is, let's say, somewhere close to home, of course you can work things out with your parents if they let you, and you can stay at home. Maybe home-cooked meals will be prepared occasionally. If it's, let's say, somewhere far away, like in Alaska, or somewhere abroad, like Singapore, then we will have resources to help you find these living situations. Third thing to take away from co-op is that it's meaningful experience. So we actually do a lot of background research until we let a co-op position be verified. So we actually sit down with a company, know exactly what responsibilities our students will partake in, and once we deem those responsibilities meaningful, then we allow that position to be a co-op position. Our students have worked for the UN. Our students have worked for Google and IBM and Merrill Lynch and the Raytheon. Of course, I'm going to say all the ones and put all the ones that you would recognize, but we have over 2,000 employers in the Boston area, nationwide, and worldwide. Last year we had about 450 co-op positions taking place abroad, and that is something continuing to expand as well. So, if a company comes to us and says, your student will be filling my coffee, they will be answering my phones and filing, we're going to say no to that co-op position because we don't deem that typical internship, as they say, meaningful enough. So we have one of our students working for Mass General Hospital, and in his co-op position, he actually monitors nerves during surgeries that takes place. So that's kind of the caliber of some of these types of co-op positions. When can you take your first co-op? Of course, we're not going to send you off to the real world right away, so your first year here will be very traditional. You will come onto campus, take classes, meet friends, meet professors. Second year you come back, first semester, very traditional as well. But it's the second semester of your second years when you can take that first co-op. Before you do, we do require all students to take an intro to co-op course. This is where you will receive a co-op advisor. This is where you will learn how to interview, how to write cover letters, resumes, how to even negotiate a salary. Our student in the fall working for us had 2 job offers. One was for $10, the other was for $13. He really liked the $10 company, so he went to the $10 company and said, listen, I really like you guys, but I have this other job offer for $13. Are you willing to pay me that $13? The $10 company ended up saying, yes, we'll pay you that $13, come along and work for us. So some of these skills, students don't typically have until maybe their senior year or even at all. Our students are learning very, very early on. After you pass this course, you are released into our database of over 2,000 employers. This is where you can search maybe a location, somewhere you've always wanted to go, or a company you've always wanted to work for. You'll maybe have applied to 4, 5 of these positions, submit your resumes, go on these interviews like you would in any real job position, because it is a real job position. We place virtually 100% of students who want to go on these co-ops. As you can imagine, some students going in their co-op, let's say they're working for the Patriots in their marketing department, saying, this is exactly it. This is exactly what I imagine the marketing department for the Patriots to be like. Everybody's happy. They might work for the same employer the next time around. Fantastic. We have some students going to their co-ops saying, this is not for me. This is not what I imagine at all. But we deem that experience just as meaningful, because they can go back to Northeastern and say, I want to change my major. I want to change my next co-op. And be able to have that flexibility to change during your undergraduate degree, change a particular major or a particular path is amazing. We're ranked number 2 in the country for best career services because over 92% of our students will graduate either enrolled in graduate school or they have a full-time job position. 50% of those students will actually be hired by a previous co-op employer. So this is your chance to have your first foot in the door of some of these big companies, smaller ones, even nonprofits, and that is the hardest part for most students who just graduate. Some students sophomore year will reserve a space and a job for when they graduate, and it happens more often than not. But you can't forget our classroom experience when our students are coming back. Our classroom experience changes completely. They're coming back and they're more engaged as learners because why? Their learning becomes a lot more meaningful and they're more tangible. They understand why they're learning these material. And so our classroom dynamic experience is unlike anywhere else. Questions so far?